I know some of the videos.
I haven't looked at my hair. So is it messed up?
You look wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Joy, for coming in today to help Lacy and me with this. This is the last step of our coaching. I'm just going to, really quick, so we can celebrate this. So we started off with a professional development plan for Lacy, and then we did coaching on topic from the results of what she wanted to learn, and then that was something that I did, and then I modeled that skill to her, and the skill is explicitly teaching children problem-solving skills.
Okay.
The steps, the problem-solving steps. I modeled that, and then she had a chance to practice it with me. I was the fake kid, and then she did it in the classroom, which she did an awesome job. The kids were great.
She is awesome.
Yeah, she is great. Really good skills. And then the last one is a peer-to-peer. And with that, Lacy's going to have an opportunity to share with you what she's learned. You know, if you can teach something to somebody else, it really shows that you know it and you feel comfortable with it. So I think that's kind of the idea behind this. Plus, you know, at Bell's Home, we just like to all be able to learn from each other. Things that you know you can share with Lacy, with anybody else. And we want that. We're open to that. So it's Lacy's opportunity to do that with you. And also, since you're here, Joy, with all the kids, it's just another opportunity to increase the fidelity of the Pyramid Plus practices across the whole school, which is really a nice, that's what we want to have. We want to have high fidelity. Let's see. Again, we want to create that environment of shared learning. It's really important. So Lacy's learning style, we've talked about, is more social. That's being able to talk things through with other people, and then the visual and the auditory are all kind of balanced out about the same. Joy and I kind of determined her learning style is more of a tactile, touching, hands-on, like writing notes and things. And
I've noticed that from the pyramid classes that we took together too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know, that's a great skill that both of you have. And one of your strengths is you both just finished the whole pyramid training, which is great. So this is an opportunity to take what you're learning in that class and start to specifically pick out some of those skills and hone them. So Joy, the hands-on, and then you said not so much the visual, maybe more visual, but not the auditory.
The videos were helpful in pyramid class. The stories we listened to from the teachers and their experiences.
Yeah. So hearing other people's experiences too.
And then having the opportunity to be here at work and use what we learned while it's still fresh in our mind.
Right.
Has been very helpful.
Yeah, that's that whole taking something from reading it and hearing other people tell you about it and actually being able to apply it. And the other thing you said too, Joy, was that just being able to observe other teachers being in classrooms, and you've talked about that before too.
And you seeing the different styles of how different teachers do these skills is really interesting too.
Yeah. But they're still teaching basically the same thing.
Just in their own different way.
Yeah, and we kind of figured that out when I did the modeling, and then versus your behavioral rehearsal and using it in class. You taught the exact same skills, but it was different from what I did. So some of your strengths, you both have that background in the pyramid, but then your language with kids is really good. And you just commented, Joy, that Linda said, "Wow, that is amazing language. That's great."
Yes, she did. It made me feel good. It's like I am.
Yeah. So, in taking that class, too, you have the background and the rationale for why we do everything we do. Ultimately, it's to help these little kiddos, but Pyramid really emphasizes the importance of doing evidence-based practices. And anything that you're learning, you know they have evidence that it does work with kids, which is really important. So what we're going to talk about, again, is the explicitly teaching children problem-solving steps. And Lacy wanted to learn that because when we did the teapot, that was an area that explicitly teaching was something that she was feeling like she wanted a little more practice with. So that was kind of your need at that point.
Mhm.
And Joy, since you're in the classroom a lot and you're doing lunch bunch and you're doing awesome afternoons, you have a lot of contact with the kids. Problem solving skills,
Yes.
they're important.
I've noticed after schools a lot of the times where you may need it because you have a bunch of children from different classes coming in too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good opportunity to have this in that 1 hour even.
Right, right. And will you be with them 5 days a week?
5 days a week.
Oh yeah, that's great.
The
You'll-
transition, I think, is important to learn.
the transition to
When they're transitioning, say for lunch brunch, they're coming from a school bus, they're coming from home, they're coming from a classroom.
Right.
They're an hour
yeah.
with me,
Uh-huh.
then they're going home or to a classroom.
Mhm.
And that whole transition with these kids is a big thing.
Mhm, mhm.
And to know how to deal with that would be really helpful.
Yeah, transition pieces, that's good. That's really a good, maybe next step for you to work on too.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Kind of what we're going to do is, I have this action plan here, peer-to-peer action plan, and I wasn't quite sure who was going to be helping us. And Joy, I'm so glad that you were able
Yeah,
to
thank you,
come.
Joy.
Last minute didn't work out for Marcy to be here, but it's really applicable for you too. So, as far as the whole problem solving thing, what we need to do is, for you, we need to figure out what learning objective related to everything that you learned about problem solving would be like the most important thing for her to have for you.
I think the most important thing about this would be the steps to take.
Okay.
To know what the steps are and how to teach them.
So Joy will learn the 4 problem solving steps.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how are we going to be able to measure that she has done that? It's kind of that, we want to make sure that you're not just hearing something, and for you to be able to, how is it going to be working for you? Maybe taking some notes when Lacy's talking with you? Yeah?
Maybe
Definitely.
she could work through a problem type thing.
Okay.
We could give us a situation, think of some solutions and work through it so that she can get a better comprehension of it.
Okay.
And this is good right here.
Yeah, the visual, that kind of fits in with... Okay, so what I'm going to say, Kate, for Lacy, you're going to teach her from the visual. I'll just write this down so as you're going through you can kind of refer back to
Okay.
it. And I'm not going to be here when you guys are talking and kind of teaching, but after you're done, then we'll go through and see how it went.
Okay.
Teach from the visual. And chart. And we're going to do that today. I'm trying to think anything else. And I think for Joy, maybe, I think that's a really good idea to come up with a specific problem and take a child through that, resolving that problem using these steps. Maybe like a little role play that you might.
We could do a role play.
Okay, so for both of you, and Joy, role play. And then Joy, you're going to come up with a problem. And initially kind of go through the steps for yourself and then do the role play. And go through steps. And we'll use the chart for that. All of these are today and with the chart. And I think a measurable outcome could be, we have like these evaluation.
Okay.
So you can kind of, actually, if you even want to fill this out right now, Joy, and then after we're done, you can fill that out. And we can see. And then you can also...
I don't have my glasses.
Oh, that's right. You said that. That was an issue. Okay, well, you can fill that out. We'll get your glasses and you can do that. Sorry. I said you weren't going to have to do any. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this for you then.
Okay.
You feel comfortable with that?
I feel
Going through
comfortable with this.
So you guys can talk a little bit,
Okay.
and then I'll be back in 5 minutes, I think. Give you
sounds
enough
good.
time?
Yeah.
10 minutes? 5 minutes.
Whatever she thinks. My glasses are in there on that computer.
I'll
back
get
there.
them and bring them back to you.
I think 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, how did it go?
I think it was great.
Good, good. So where's our action plan? Let me see that. Let's kind of make sure that we go over this, because this is really important. This is kind of what we came up with. You know, one thing that we didn't really talk about, but maybe we can even discuss it a little bit now, is at Bell Swan, we're a fully inclusive school. So we have kids who have different learning styles and different needs. And this whole problem-solving thing, incorporating that with all of the kids. Any ideas or?
Well, I know one that was beneficial that we could use was the stick puppets, where you can remind them of the rules. You could also use mini solution kits for them if they're having a hard time focusing. A fidget maybe during circle time.
Yeah, yeah. How about you, Joy? Any specific kids or?
The nonverbal children, and use some sign. Or if you don't know sign, use a visual with a picture and a happy face. Sad
Yeah.
face.
Yeah, that might be a really cool thing to do, is to come up with these steps and some signs that you can use with those kids. Simple ones that you can teach them to use, and you can use with them too. Yeah, that's a great idea. That inclusion piece is so, so important. And we just want to make sure that we always are thinking about that in anything that we're teaching to our kids. Lacy, were you able to use the chart?
I was able to, yes.
Okay.
I kind of generated my own little problem through
Okay.
and we did the role play and came up with some different ideas that we could use and went through each step. What would happen if?
Oh, okay.
And I think that really helped. The what would happen if really helped. And then we talked a lot about the emotional literacy of the faces and how they look and how they're feeling too.
Yeah. Good. Great. How about you, Joy? How about with coming up with the problem and then the role play? How'd that go for you?
It went really well. It went real well.
Good. Good.
Came up with a problem and explained what a solution was, or let the kids tell us what the solution could be. She had good examples and the what ifs and how does it make you feel. And
So do you think this is something then maybe that you can start to incorporate with your...
oh, definitely.
Good.
Definitely.
Good. Well, we talked about a measurable goal. Just going through the 4 steps, that was one thing that we wanted to make sure, and you feel comfortable with that. But then also filling out this evaluation of your knowledge of this problem-solving steps prior to Lacy talking, and then what you feel it's like now. And then if you have any other comments there that you want to give us, that would be awesome. All right. And if you actually... I know you have to get back to work. If you want to go ahead and fill that out, and thank you. And I know that, just being able to have that skill and being able to still use it across with your kids, that's great. If you want to take it, and then we can get it, and we'll review that.
Okay.
And Lacy and I have to finish up just a little tiny bit with her
Thank
professional
you.
development.
All right,
Thank you,
thank you,
Miss
Miss
Joy. So, look at, we're all the way through.
That's awesome. Great.
Woo-hoo. And you felt comfortable with the talking with?
I did feel comfortable
Good.
talking with her and teaching her it. And I told her even that, when you're role playing, it feels a little bit silly, but when you actually get in and get their feedback, it flows pretty well.
Good.
So,
Good. That's great. Well, this is the professional development plan we came up with on our first meeting.
Okay.
And we've gone through all these steps. And our last step was that we were going to do the peer-to-peer activity and debrief it, which we're doing now. And it was set for today. It was with Marcy. We had to change that. So that's the one thing that on here we can change. It wasn't with Marcy. It was with Miss Joy. Joy, but that's completed. So we've done all of that.
Great.
And just kind of looking over at the implementation. This is a little bit off of the last time after the live coaching, the debriefing that we had after that. This is taking it, we want to do full circle with this. So your strengths with the implementation of problems are that you know the skills now, you know those steps to take. And some of the ideas that we kind of came up with of how to carry them over in the classroom. You remember what any of those were that we talked about?
Well, using puppet play and the visuals, maybe putting the visuals up somewhere in the classroom that they can easily be referred to. Maybe mentioning it throughout the day, carrying it on for if there was a problem, or saying, I remember when we talked about problem solving skills, or I remember this was a solution we thought of.
Yeah.
And just praising it, like when you see those problem solving skills taking place too.
So carry over during the day. So that's going to be ongoing. I mean, using the puppets, I think, is really a good idea. And I think that was one thing when we talked about it. You were a little bit apprehensive, so a skill that you'd kind of want to work on would be increasing your confidence in doing that.
Yeah.
And that's just like with the role play stuff you said with Joy. Just the more you practice with it,
The more comfortable you get with it.
Right. So I put down here using puppets to reinforce problem-solving skills during a small group, and I put down here. I put down the 7th, but you're going to be gone tomorrow. So maybe we can put down the 12th. You might be able to do that in the classroom with the kids, and maybe reinforcing it if you don't get around to doing it with all the kids, maybe on the 14th too.
Okay.
And then that's your last day for summer class. So if you can work on that. And using puppets, and then the chart too.
Okay.
Just always referring back to that. And then just the carryover of reinforcing it throughout the day. And that's ongoing. I'm just going to write that down. That's one thing and that kind of even leads to almost the next step on as a professional development. One thing that we had talked about is using specific praise for children's behaviors throughout the day. So that might be another good next step to work on throughout a circuit.
Okay.
Something like that. Do you feel comfortable with that?
I do. I think that's something that's definitely a great skill to have.
So that might be like a next step. Teaching specific skill or remembering to use to reinforce kids. Reinforcement. Forcing kids for their specific behaviors, and really specific, tying it back to the behavior. So, look at this. 8-6 completed the first coaching circuit.
Nice.
See?
Well, thank you for everything. I really appreciate it.
Oh, well, we'll have lots of opportunities. I'm really looking forward to it this
Me too.
next year. We can just grab those skills, anything that you feel not real comfortable with or something, and we can figure out how to do that.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Miss Lacy.